Hello, everyone. This is Amna Sen back here in front of you having this broadcast today. I hope you guys are doing amazing and having a good time with your families out there and from wherever you will be watching me. So, hello from my side to everyone out there. Right. So, today I have with me Enrique Acosta joining me all the way from the United States of America. He is a leadership coach, and more further, he will be defining about himself in a more better way, which I really like about it. And the topic of our discussion for today is very simple, yet so much deep down to understand and extract the most of it, which is all about career development, how to craft your career on a right track, right path. And with that, actually, most important is to become the leader out there in your industry, in your niche, and how to do it basically. This is so much important and valuable actually to understand and gain that knowledge. So here he is. He'll be joining me in a couple of minutes. Before that, I want you to tell me from where you're watching and joining in. Leave any questions or feedback or your thoughts related to the topic, any type of questions you are having in your mind and you want to discuss with us. So we will be welcoming you and your questions. Okay. So yeah, before further ado, I would like him to be on the show, and here he is. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you, Amna, for allowing me to share this platform with you and the discussion, which is very important.
Absolutely, yeah. And even when we were discussing about that, like we share different thoughts and opinions on LinkedIn, and
Right.
we follow each other words. So again, you are posting a lot of great content related to leadership, leadership development, being a leadership coach. So yeah, I want you to get started from yourself. That about yourself, about your introduction, what do you do, and where do you serve to the professional workforce. Yeah.
All right. So, very briefly, I served in the Navy 26 years, retired, and decided to take all that knowledge and pack it into my own company, which is Triad Leadership Solutions. And basically, what I focus on is one on one coaching, developing leaders to become the best version of themselves. And the reason why I like one on one is because I can get to deep dive into their specific needs and address those. I also do group coaching if that's or training if that's the flavor that you want, in any of a myriad of topics that deal with leadership or group dynamics.
Exactly. And when we hear you and watch your basically your content on LinkedIn, so even your tagline says that you are promoting or converting the success into success,
Right.
which is again so much I must say profound to understand how
Yeah.
it it, it, it takes place. So yeah, so as we are here to discuss the topic related to career first, that how you served in Navy and you've been through a lot in your career. So I want you to get started from that. How, like, is there any um, you know correct or standard way to find out your career pathway, or what is it exactly? How to track your career?
Yeah. So you had mentioned in your post that career leadership development, those things kind of align somewhat, and they do in this aspect. Uh, a person that's looking for a career, a person that is looking to develop as a leader, must start at ground zero. And by ground zero, I mean them. You must understand what you would like to do, because a job is a job, but it doesn't mean that it's a career. Uh, and you have to understand career is long term, it's not short term. If you want a job, you can get a job. But if you want a career, it has to be something that you're willing to endure the test of time in, and gradually go up the ladder of the proverbial ladder in corporate, in a corporate setting. But it must be something, and this is something that I stress on both career seeking and leadership development. you must be happy at the end of the day that you chose that. Because if you're not, then you're started all wrong. So the first thing is know what you want to do and then go after that that will make you happy at the end of the day.
Right, absolutely. And in between, again, you need to ask yourself the exploration part,
Yeah.
the questions we need to ask ourselves, that what we are good at and how longer it can run with
Yeah.
ourselves like that,
Hmm.
so if we emphasize on career development for all of them, right, all professionals coming from all ages and backgrounds. So how do you see it? Like, for example, for graduates, it's different. For mid-career, is different.
Yeah.
Uh, from for decline, like somebody says, like, after 50s, oh, my career is now done. So
Hmm.
what should I do? So how do you see that? The segregation of the paths.
Yeah. The only thing that separates all three of them is experience
Hmm.
because they're all human. They all are in a career and they all have a goal. So the only thing is experience. And I would say that the best position out of all three of them is the one that's just starting because
Hmm.
they still have time on their hands and they can jumpstart their career by instituting some things that they've learned early. And that's why I love working with college graduates because they're fresh. It's a brand new how you would say vineyard, and you get to plant all the things that you want to see out of a person and have them enriched through that process. But even a person that is mid career still has an opportunity because every day affords us another opportunity to make it right. And so, and then you mentioned 50, which is funny. That's me. Uh, I don't think that I'm done by no means, but there are some that do. They say, hey, look, I'm already at retirement age in some industries, or I'm looking at retiring because of certain structures that governments establish, an age of retirement.
Hmm.
But even those people have an opportunity to make it big. And if you notice and you go into some history,
Hmm.
there are some of the greatest minds and some of the greatest brands did not start till after they were 50. So don't ever discount people by age, their passion, their timing, and the environment will one day collide and make it such a big event and such a big success. So, yeah. So, how do I gain that experience that separates us? You have to be willing to learn. If you're not willing to learn at entry, midpoint, or even retirement,
Hmm.
uh, you're headed for a certain demise that
Hmm.
will come to people who are not willing to learn.
Exactly. Actually, this was the question many of the professionals had on my post. Actually,
Mm,
hey Anna, how to start our career when we are retired, maybe, or again our late career, or we are at our declining position in our career. So I just really wanted to ask you this question so that again it can help most of those professionals who are looking and seeking the something to get again,
mhm.
regaining themselves in the career. So
Yeah.
that's the point over here. All right. Okay. So how do you see again? Like leadership is so broad,
Yeah.
and we as an individual in our lives, personally and professionally, I believe that we are leaders, right? Because we are responsible for different things. So most of the professionals do understand that leadership is only and only for some specific people. Like,
Mm.
so I want you to emphasize on or tell from your coaching experience also how to become a leader in your industry, in your professional domain, in the subjects, or whatever who you are actually. What would you like to explain?
Yeah.
Share with
I
us.
mentioned this earlier, and a leader starts with you. If you want to be a leader, if somebody came to me and said, I want to be a leader, and I see attributes that are not ingesting that leadership into themselves, or they're not exuding those leadership qualities already, then I
Mhm.
always say, do not, do not lead. Because the problem is that there's a lot of people that want to be leaders but can't even lead themselves.
Hmm. I
And
totally
so no wonder we have an issue when it comes to leadership.
exactly.
You must first start with yourself.
Mhm.
Start to seek and start to learn some things that will help you be the example, because that is what a leader is. It is a person that you look up to, that is emulating things that you want in your life. And so you learn from that person. And so a leader is already influencing by their life. If their life doesn't say leader, then I say don't follow.
Mhm. Right, right, absolutely. And over here, adding to that, leadership qualities. Again, many professionals, job seekers, even misunderstand this concept of becoming a leader in your
Yeah.
industry or niche. So, what are the I must say a value? What is the value actually for career development, coaching sessions, or counseling sessions, or how it can help basically to find the right track of your career. So, what would you like to share with us from
Yeah.
your view? Yeah.
So any development, whether it's career development or your leadership development, has to start with truth. A lot of people are not willing to hear the truth, and definitely not willing to accept it. So,
This is the
but
most.
this is where the most work has to happen. You have
Mm,
to know what truths are in place about you. You have to understand yourself. If you're a hothead, a person
mm,
that just flies off the handle at anything, I don't think that leadership is going to help you any. Because there's so many situations that come up that will allow someone to just fly off the handle. But that's what happens. People don't understand themselves to the point where they say, oh, wow, before I go into a leadership setting, I need to
mm,
get this in check. Right.
yeah.
And so, what can I do? What can I learn? What can I read? Who can I talk to get this particular item that I know is already a problem
Mm,
before I start going into a group setting and then flying off the handle at my employees, at my coworkers, at my teammates? And so that's something that we see often.
right.
We tend to call them bosses instead of leaders, right? That's what
Exactly.
happens. A
Exactly.
boss
True.
is a person that wishes to be in charge of groups of people,
Mm,
but
mm,
cannot lead themselves. And
mm,
so the first thing is truth. Can you be truthful about yourself? Can you
mm,
be truthful about your endeavors, of your goals, of the things that you aspire to be, and where you currently are compared to where you want to go?
true. Exactly.
Because that is where the best work happens, when you start facing truth about yourself and the gap between you and your destination.
Absolutely. You mentioned rightly about the boss and the leader,
Hmm.
you know, and it's also about leading the team.
Yeah.
If you got your team, so again, there are also leadership works because as long as you are leading yourself nicely in your life and at your career, then only you can lead your team in a very great, authentic way, especially sharing the value out there. All right. So, okay. So now I want you to explain a little bit about your program you offer, so
Mhm.
that again our audience can have information about it, and anyone who wants to enroll in your program, what you offer. So they're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So my website is triadleadershipsolutions.com, and you can go on there and book a time. There's 30 and 60-minute segments you could book, and even a what I call it's not free, because I don't say it's free. Our time is not free. Uh, but it is a consultation where you can speak with me, complimentary. Uh,
Mhm.
so, what type of conversations we're gonna have? And I always caveat this because it's how I do it. Uh,
Right.
be ready for the truth. That's number one. If you want to work with me, be ready for the truth. It will not be unempathy, and it's not gonna lack empathy, right? But it's gonna be truth. And I always encourage people to consider that before you call or write, because that is really what you're looking for. Most people are looking for that, they just don't know it, but are so thankful afterwards because they understand that they got a whole lot farther with truth than with just pacifying their their current circumstances.
Right.
So one-on-one coaching is available. Group coaching, if you're a company out there and you would
Mhm.
like for me to speak to your group concerning any of a myriad of leadership issues or topics, you can do that as well. And yeah, you can go right to the website and book it there, or you can send me a DM on LinkedIn. That's where I reside, and then we'll discuss from there.
Absolutely, great one. And to all of the viewers out there, I have already linked down your LinkedIn profile URL so
Mhm.
people can reach you out easily. And the way you actually explain, they should be keeping that in mind. So yeah, absolutely, it's so great to chat with you, Enric. And any type of like message or advice you want to share with our audience, professionals who really want to gear up their self in the career and become a leader in the industry, what would you like to share?
Yeah. So both in the career and leadership development, this stands true. You must have a strategy around your approach at career development and leadership development. Uh, Both can parallel, but not necessarily cross at any given time. But both can parallel. So, what do I mean by that? You can have just started your career, and if you know the track towards leadership in your organization, you can start road mapping yourself through that transition and adding whatever timeline your organization may have to your current standing. I encourage everyone to have a roadmap to their career and leadership development. If you do not, you will be running around aimlessly, grabbing anything that may come your way, and it may not be suited for you. And so that's where most problems arise when we take on things that are not suited for us, or we're not fully ready to execute at the time. So, roadmap, planning, and as I've already mentioned two or three times,
That's
truth about yourself.
right. Absolutely. Great one out there from your side. And again, this whole conversation was all about actually clearing your mindset because it starts with yourself,
Hmm.
as you mentioned. Thank you so much, Enrique, for joining me and having a, sharing the great insights about career development and leadership and also the mission, the work you do. It's so awesome and amazing
Hmm. Thank you.
to join with you. Thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to chat soon. All right. Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.